I think that we will clap to welcome Amy Nordquist.
It was July 1st, 2002. I stepped off the bus into the pouring rain, carrying one bag tightly and running for shelter. I wonder, what in the world have I gotten myself into? Is it too late to run? Standing at attention, feelings of nausea and fear overwhelmed me as the training instructors greeted us. I learned quickly not to lie on my knees while standing at attention. Looking back at my younger years, I don't think anyone, including myself, would have guessed that little Amy would raise her right hand one day and join the United States Air Force. I grew up in an absolutely amazing family. They taught me about love and serving others, and they convinced me that anything was possible if I set my mind to it and believed in myself. I still carry these valuable lessons with me today, and am quick to share them with others. Even though I grew up believing in Jesus, I never really understood how to grow closer to him or have a personal relationship with him. We went to church on Sunday and CDC classes on Wednesday nights, but I felt like I was going through the motions of being a good Catholic. I never really understood the meaning behind the things I was doing. Then I attended Christianity 101 at Wooddale Church with my future husband, Andy. This was just the beginning for me of learning how to enjoy a beautiful relationship with Jesus. Being away from home for my first time with instructors yelling at me was slightly intimidating. Even though I was doing things right, I was still getting in trouble for silly things that seemed to be the end of the world at the time. I remember my first phone call home to Mom and Dad. They could barely understand me because I was crying so hard. They seemed so far away, yet right at my side, cheering me on and providing encouraging words. After attending worship services at basic training, I began to deepen my relationship with Jesus. I accepted Jesus' forgiveness of my sin while lying in bed and praying. I can't say this made basic training any easier, but I can say that I knew I was at basic training for a greater purpose. A purpose that was beyond my own understanding. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." I graduated from basic training on August 19th, 2002, shortly after I went away to school to become an aeromedical evacuation technician. I would be providing medical care to soldiers on the back of cargo planes. The training was intense, yet incredible, providing a small glimpse of what the journey ahead would entail. How do I ever express in words alone the blessings each deployment has brought? In 2005, I had the chance to support people impacted by Hurricane Katrina, and less than 1 year later, I was off to Iraq. I was a bit nervous prior to leaving for Iraq in 2006, especially after watching the news. I was newly married and would be celebrating my 1 year anniversary in Iraq. Within my first few days in Iraq, I was reading letters sent from friends and families all over the world. Joshua 1:9 stood out among all of those letters. The words provided me encouragement and strength throughout my deployments. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be terrified, do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Many asked if I was scared. My response was that even though I miss my family and want to go home to them, I know that God's purpose is so much greater. Joshua 1:9 provided me with abundance of strength to overcome fears. It was during this deployment that I grew closer to Jesus than ever before. I had the chance to experience God at work during the midst of war. God provides beauty and grace during war. I worked in the American and Iraqi intensive care units and helped fly our wounded to further definitive care. I often asked why. I could not comprehend why people were getting hurt and killed. I learned that I probably will never have an adequate answer during this life. There are many memories I will keep close to heart. A burn patient unable to talk but squeezes my hand for comfort. A soldier newly diagnosed with a brain tumor sharing his experiences of earning 2 Purple Hearts. A bilateral amputee calling his mom for the first time. Donating blood to a patient and finding out months later that this patient was from Minnesota and made it home to see his family before dying. Standing out on the flight line, paying respects to fallen brothers and sisters in arms. And a patient newly diagnosed with a traumatic brain injury smiles the entire 9-hour mission back home. The memories are never ending, but the most important part is each one of these has strengthened my faith and my love for Jesus and my job in the Air Force. Words alone will never express how grateful I am that the Lord is using me for His purpose to provide care to our soldiers. It is often difficult to leave the job, mission, and friends behind and transition back home when you can feel God's strength and purpose more vividly while deployed. It has been an honor to serve Jesus while being a part of the Minnesota Air National Guard. I thank everyone for their tremendous support and prayers. I have experienced the effects of prayers in action while being away. Deployments are challenging physically, mentally, socially, and spiritually, and it is especially difficult being away from loved ones. Yet it has become a huge part of my life, and I enjoy sharing God's greater purpose with others.